everybody.
Hi, guys. Well, from lovely Salt Lake City, Utah,
It's Thank God I'm Atheist.
the podcast.
I'm Frank.
And I'm Dan.
Coming up today, we're going to talk about religion and sex.
Oh, we can't talk about that. That's indecent. Ooh.
Sexy sex.
Like steam escaping in here.
Ooh, it's hot.
It is hot. The hotness.
All right.
That's
so,
right.
yeah,
TGIA is going to go hot and steamy.
TGIA After Dark.
In which we just do the same thing that we normally do.
And just go,
We just turn on a light. Oh, yeah.
Religion news, Dan.
We need to get the Red Rock Hot Club to play something a little spicier.
Racier.
Row.
So, what have you got, Dan?
Well, it filed under It's Not Just Us news. I have a listener submitted article about the Chief Justice of South Africa's Supreme Court.
Oh, and not the us being Americans.
Not just Americans.
Okay. All right.
Chief Justice... son of a bitch. Why do they have to be so hard? Magong. Of South Africa.
I'm sure you did that justice.
I'm positive I nailed it.
I'm sure you did that Chief Justice's name justice.
Chief Justice who?
Mbala.
No, it's not Mbala. It's Magong. I don't know. Mogoeng.
There, you did it.
Magong.
Fine. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, Mr. Magong has come out very, very firmly in the column of no separation between church and state.
None?
Well, not none. He did say this. He said, quote, "The critical question that we are called upon to grapple with is how the interplay between law and religion could yield a product that is for the common good of all in Africa's pluralistic societies." And by pluralistic, I guess he means Christian?
All the varieties of Christian.
Right, exactly. We've got black Christians. We've got white Christians. You know, there's Pentecostal Christians and there's Catholic Christians. It's a pluralistic society.
So many. So many.
Yeah, he apparently quoted Tom Jefferson, our beloved Thomas Jefferson.
Well, I mean, when
inventor
if you
of the
can quote Thomas Jefferson,
Yeah.
you know you're on. You've got, you're on the right side of things.
No, he managed to stay on the wrong side.
What did he do?
Well, he did say the intersection between religion and the law has been the subject matter of some controversy for many years now.
Okay.
But he seems to think that there needs to be more religion in the law. Now,
okay.
The writer of the article that was sent in to us keeps pointing out that, we have a constitution here, and maybe you should just be, defending, making sure that the laws are in line with the Constitution as per your constitutional mandate.
Yeah.
But no, he seems to think that it would be a good idea to get more Jesus in there.
Well, if there were more Jesus in the Constitution, then he'd have that mandate.
One might think that one might be tempted to ask the question, what's the harm in a little bit more Jesus?
A little Jesus
in this. Apparently, there was a fairly recent ruling. Oh, it was a while back. It was a rape trial, and he in his talking about this rape trial, I can't. Was this the? He reduced the sentence of a child rapist, saying, quote, "One can safely assume that the accused must have been mindful of the victim's tender age and was thus so careful as not to injure her private parts except accidentally when he penetrated her."
What? Who is this guy?
This is this Chief Justice.
Who the what?
Right.
This guy's a problem.
Yeah. He said that would explain why the child was neither sad nor crying when she returned from the shop, notwithstanding the rape. In addition to the tender approach that would explain the absence of serious injuries and the
tender
absence
approach of rape.
of serious bleeding, he bought her silence and cooperation with Simba chips and R30. I don't know what R30 is, but Simba chips are just snack food. Yeah. He reduced the sentence of a child rapist because
it was gentle.
he clearly took her tender age into account. So yeah, they got a peach there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They got somebody good protecting them down to Cape Town.
Boy, and if he and the Chief Justice of Alabama joined forces.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They could take that show on the road.
Yeah.
They could be all over the place with that stuff. Roy Moore.
Yeah, I think
the
that's the name,
Roy Moore boing. What is his name? Magong.
if that is really your name,
Right.
sir.
More Magong on tour for the first time.
Oh, God. Jesus. Well, all right. Thank you, Dan.
I just thought I'd start us off on a happy note.
I know one of the other stories you're bringing up. You're on one today.
Yeah, well, that's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
So I'm glad I went the direction I went with some of these.
Yes.
So I'm going to shift gears just a little bit and talk about that wonderful British boy band One Direction.
Oh, sure. I've heard of them.
Ooh, yeah.
I've heard of them.
5
Strapping young men.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah, you know.
Cuties. One and all.
They are. It's almost as if they found them based on their looks and their singing ability. Because it was
like they held auditions and put a
I
band
don't
together.
know. Sometimes that's
You're
how boy
such a
bands get
cynic.
put together.
Yeah.
None of them are from the same town.
No, I think
It's not like they all
no, they
went
weren't.
to high school together and
I think
formed a
they
thing.
are a Simon Cowell creation.
Yeah.
I think
Quite possibly.
No, for real. I think that's
Okay.
what it is. Anyway.
Well, anyways, they're just so cute.
Oh,
They really are.
adorable.
And who could possibly object to anything these wonderful lads, get
Right.
themselves mixed up in? I'm sure it's just hijinks and fun,
Sure.
all around, and just good, clean fun. Well, there's a Catholic priest in the Philippines.
Oh.
He's an official actually in the Catholic Bishops' Conference of the Philippines, and
Sure.
he is urging the government to ban One Direction from the country.
What?
Ban them. They are a bad influence.
What?
Well, okay. So
What did they do?
2 of them smoked pot in a car in Peru, and the video got leaked onto I don't know, to the media somewhere.
Oh.
And so now that
Those
video,
rapscallions.
first of all, how did the video get out? Okay, because
Right.
I guess a couple of them have been talking about kind of trying to change their image just a little bit.
Right. So
come
leaked, meaning leaked by their manager.
Quite possibly. I mean, come on. So yeah, they're smoking the pot, and this Catholic priest wants no.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nobody
not.
who's ever smoked pot is allowed to come into the Philippines and be.
You can't.
Come on.
You can't entertain us with your bubblegum pop songs.
If
If you have ever participated in anything to which I object,
right,
that is absolutely out of the
Yeah.
question.
that's not what we want from our pop bands.
You take your disappointingly musically vapid music out of here.
Have you, speaking of their vapid music, have you ever been forced to endure their music?
I watched the video for their first big hit.
Yeah.
The That's What Makes You Beautiful song.
Oh, that's the one I watched this morning too.
God, it's so bad.
It's awful.
But at least it has a
awful.
terrible message. So there's that.
Well, they were on SNL
Oh, okay.
sometime this last season.
Well, of course they're smoking pot now.
I know, right? I mean, you get into that studio.
Yeah.
Come on. No, and they were doing their song, "The Story of Your Life" or something like that, or some nonsense. And I
feel
was
that
just
I've been mercifully spared. 'Cause I haven't heard that.
I usually skip that section,
the
music section
right.
of Saturday Night Live. But for Brent kind of likes to watch them.
Okay.
So we watched it,
sure.
and it was just like, oh, this is why I don't like watching this.
You know what? I'll tell you what's funny is that the thing that offends me most about them is that what little access I've had to them, what little I've heard of their stuff, they've got what, 5 guys?
5 guys.
And they do at most ever 2-part harmony that I've ever heard. And it's like, 3 guys on the main part and 2 guys on the harmony. And I'm just like, you've got 5 guys.
Yeah.
Do something mildly musically interesting.
Right. Well, all they're doing, they just trade off.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
From one to the other.
Sure.
Because I noticed that in whatever song.
Well, and that's kind of a standard thing. But I mean, for the verses, but in the chorus, break it up. Let's hear some of those golden voices do some harmony.
I don't know. It's about their golden voices.
It's not.
It's not.
It's about their glimmering, luscious hair and beautiful bodies.
Yeah, it's about how much the camera loves them.
Right.
There's one in particular that the camera really loves.
The cute one.
Yeah.
Is he the cute one or is he the bad boy?
He might be the bad boy.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about him. I just assume that they've all been cast into their
the cute one, the bad boy, the ladies' man,
and the bass player.
The bass player.
I mean, they don't play instruments, but isn't that it?
The quirky one.
There's always the bass player who doesn't really have a category. He's just the bass player.
Yeah. Poor guy. No, it's not that kind of band.
Okay. They're all just the cute one.
They're all the cute one. Yeah. Is that Simon Cowell? He cast them well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. There's someone in there for everyone. Every taste, let me tell you. And I looked up their age because I do feel bad feeling lusty
after children
if they're too young.
Sure.
And they're all at least 20.
Yeah.
So I feel okay.
So you're in the clear. Go ahead and lust.
There's not going to be any posters of these guys.
No.
But yeah, anyways.
Whatever. You've got it on as your screensaver now.
Oh, yeah.
You're like One Direction directly into my bedroom.
Yeah. I don't like their music.
No.
I don't listen to them.
No, if you met one of them and things were getting steamy, it would have to be like, shh. Don't sing.
Was that Bullets Over Broadway?
Don't speak. Don't speak.
Don't speak. Shh. Don't speak.
Anyway, well, there you go. Good. One Direction right out of the Philippines. That's which direction.
Well, and I love the quote. He says they're taking the youth in the wrong direction.
Oh! He got him.
I almost missed that.
He got him on that one. You didn't miss it. He could have missed it.
Yeah.
But he got it.
He got it. He got it in there.
Good for him. Well, okay. You alluded to it. We're going to get heavy again. It's been all over the news. Most people have seen it, but I'm just going to say, you get people. Our friend Dave Moscato, who's the PR guy at American Atheist. We've interviewed him on the show before. Mm-hmm. He posted a thing on Facebook, and he said, when people say, "What's the harm in religion, and why can't we just have a live and let live attitude about it?" Mm-hmm. And to that, he responds, 800 dead children in Ireland.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, it was recently discovered, or actually it was discovered in the 70s and then recently rediscovered because nobody did anything about it apparently in the 70s.
You're kidding me.
Some children found it or whatever, and then they just sort of didn't do anything.
Some children found
the children.
The children.
Yeah.
The dead children.
Apparently almost 800, like 790 something bodies of children were found at a former home for unmarried mothers, which was run by nuns in Ireland.
Catholic nuns, yeah. And I mean they range in age, right? From like newborn to toddlers.
Yeah. Apparently now, Ireland actually in this time frame, we're talking about 1925 to 1961. Uh-huh. And apparently Ireland in this time frame had the lowest or the highest infant mortality rate of any country in Europe.
Oh, okay.
They had a tuberculosis problem and all sorts of other things.
Oh, okay.
However, these homes had a much higher infant mortality rate.
Okay.
These kids were malnourished. There are lots of firsthand reports of like government reports even of malnourishment, of ill treatment. So this isn't an innocent thing, and even if they all just died of natural causes, they were just chucked into a mass grave unmarked. And
a septic tank is what I thought it said.
yeah, I read something about that too. I haven't found where that came from, but I did. It's not listed as that in several of the articles that I read, but I did see that somewhere. So no matter what, it's just a giant hole full of dead babies. And they just they didn't mark it, they didn't do anything.
Horrifying.
It's sort of part of the same thing that was happening. It's not the same group of people, but the same basic thing that was happening with Philomena, the movie that came out with Judi Dench. That was based on the true story of a woman who, she got pregnant unmarried. And basically, this is the story of all these women. They got pregnant when they weren't married, and they were thrown into these their shamed families, threw them into these homes where these nuns essentially made them do slave labor, unpaid slave labor.
Right.
And they took away their children. And then often adopted them out to just any old whomever. And if they didn't adopt them out, then they died and were thrown into a hole. And that's bad. I'm going to go out. I'm going to just make a categorical statement that what happened there was horrible. It was bad.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have been, and now not every Catholic would ever even dream of doing this, but it wouldn't have been possible without
institutional Catholicism.
Indeed. And so that is, if anyone ever says, what's the harm? That's one of many, many myriad things that you could point to and just say, without religion, this would not have been able to happen.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. Well, thanks, Dan.
You're welcome, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope everybody was happy with that.
Well, it had to be talked about. That's the thing. Like,
what are you going to do? You got to talk about it.
I saw the story, and I was like, nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
not doing it. I think we should, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. So. I don't hold the entire Catholic Church culpable for it.
No, it's not like... Yeah.
It's not like these were orders that came down from Rome.
No. Clear. I mean, but that's the problem is with any sort of organizational breakdown. The individual elements, the people, not any one of them would have chosen the to have that be the outcome.
Right.
Nobody. None of those nuns would ever have chosen, option, no kids, no septic tank filled with 790 some odd kids.
Right.
Or septic tank filled with almost 800 kids.
Right.
They never would have gone with the latter. But the organization broke down.
Right.
Based on its set of mores.
Based on the shame that comes, and we'll be talking about that later on in the show too. We'll be talking about how religion's views on sex become more than just a cute little difference between religious people and not religious people.
Right.
It's not cute.
Right. So anyhow,
quick, save us. Save us.
Well, I'm going to move on to Lubbock, Texas.
Oh, Lubbock,
Texas, where their school district has just won a lawsuit over banning an advertisement from, I think, their football field. Oh, and there was this religious group that was trying to put up a big billboard, and I mean, it's a religious group in Texas
that can fly. You can make that happen in Texas.
You probably could. However, the billboard in question has a Jesus figure.
Okay.
Completely tattooed.
Oh.
Across it, so he's bare chest, no shirt on, right?
Right.
And he's tattooed all across his chest and down his arms, and it says things like "outcast"
on his body,
on his chest, and then it says "addicted" on his arm.
Oh.
Jealous, faithless. What are some of the other ones? Depressed, agony, so forth and so on.
Okay. I'm trying to piece together their message here.
And the name of the group is, and then it says the name of the group.
Uh-huh.
And it's also their URL. And it says JesusTattoo.org.
Okay.
Okay. Now, where do you think that's going, Dan? Where do you, like...
Okay, so my guess is that what we've got here is Jesus is this sort of message of like Jesus loved all of the sinners and Jesus embraced the lepers and the hookers, the prostitutes in his time. So he would embrace the tattooed people of our time, and the bikers and stuff.
Mm-hmm. The hipsters.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's Texas, so probably not so much the hipsters.
Even Jesus doesn't like hipsters.
They're on their own.
Shave your damn beard already. We get it.
Well, I watched. I thought that it was about promoting this idea of like, hey, get a Jesus tattoo, right? And so like I go to their website and I look at it. And I'm like, I might have described it a little too much for you.
Oh, okay.
It kind of did give you a little bit of a clue as to what it was about. But they have this video. And they have sort of this, this guy with long hair and a beard, looks like kind of Jesus-y, but also just kind of like how people look today.
Okay.
Long hair, a beard.
Right.
He's just wearing like a t-shirt and some nondescript pants.
Sure.
And he goes into a place called, I think it was like Underground Tattoo. And he goes in there and a client comes in. And so this guy who kind of looks like Jesus is the tattoo artist. Okay. And so the people sit down one by one and they have a tattoo on them already that says outcast or addicted or jealous or faithless, right?
Sure.
And then he sits down and he, through the magic of Jesus and his special tattoo gun, his magic Jesus tattoo gun thing, this
is like special effects?
He's able... well, not fully. I mean, it's just one shot and then you see him and then, doing it in a wide shot and then it goes in for a close-up of what he's done. And all of a sudden, those words have been transformed to, accepted or loved or,
That's beautiful. What a nice message.
And, okay, so he's sitting there and he's doing all of this, right?
Yeah.
And it's a bunch of, it's just a series of people, probably, I don't know, it could even be like 20 people. I mean, at a certain point, I was like, this video is dragging on. And then at the end, Jesus takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
And he now has all those tattoos on him.
Because he's taken their sins.
He took their sins.
Like the sin of being an outcast. Or the sin of being depressed.
Yeah.
Those don't strike me as sins. I think the message is getting garbled a little bit.
No, I'm pretty sure that those are sins.
Okay. Fair enough.
Come on. Think about conservative Christians.
Yeah.
If you're depressed, there's something wrong.
You need Jesus. You need more Jesus.
You need Jesus. It may not be exactly a sin.
You need 30% more Jesus.
Yeah.
And you'll be great.
Well, you need to sit down and have him, give you some ink.
Right. Well, I just pulled up JesusTattoo.org.
Yeah.
And I clicked on the Who Am I section.
Oh, yeah.
And it's got these little gray squares with just words in them.
Yeah.
Little squares that say, he created you as a unique and powerful person with an eternal soul.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
That's nice. And then it says, he has a plan for your life. He loves you.
Oh.
That's nice. And then it says, we all sin.
We do. Yeah.
But that doesn't seem to be in keeping with like the rest. This is the who is he section. I was wrong. Although it says who am I. Oh no, it is who am I.
Okay.
But it's all talking about him. I don't know. He
Maybe
died.
who am I is like, it's Jesus
Oh,
asking
it's
the
Jesus.
question.
It's Jesus.
He's like, who
answering.
am I?
Who am I?
Who am I?
He is alive and desires a relationship with you. It's simple. Talk to him.
Yeah. Oh, that's really nice.
Who am I? I'm your imaginary friend.
Oh, choose Jesus. Did you see that one?
Choose Jesus.
Doing nothing is a choice.
Do it. Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Admit you have sinned. Ask for
profound.
his forgiveness.
So the school district said, no way, Jose. That's clearly, like proselytizing.
Right.
We can't let you do that.
Right.
And so JesusTattoo.org sued.
Oh.
And so now they, but like I said, the school district won the lawsuit. Yep.
Well, thanks for wasting taxpayer money on that, though, guys. Appreciate that.
No, they were the school district chose to.
No, I'm saying I'm glad that the school district defended it, but somebody's lawyer, the Jesus Tattoos people's lawyer, should have sat them down and said, "You don't get to win this one. What you want is against the law. So let's just move on."
Right, all right.
But instead, they had to file this suit and waste taxpayers, force the school district to spend taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
Defending what should be so easy. Everyone should get this by now, but no.
It was probably what the Law Tigers. Have you seen the
Yes,
Law Tigers?
They're more motorcycle accident.
I
attorneys.
know, but
yeah,
I bet they've represented people with some
they
Jesus
would
tattoos.
they'd represent Jesus Tattoo for sure. Jesus Tattoo. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna try and call to your mind an image. I'm gonna see if I can paint a picture.
Okay.
And take you to a place. You and I have both been here to this place.
Oh. Okay.
Remember driving down a very nice little road, sort of not a city road, but not urban, but not quite country. And as we're driving, we see a church in the distance and crosses, cross. And then around the corner,
yeah.
cross.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What was next door to that church?
A mosque.
The Murfreesboro Mosque. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, which the mosque was, we reported on this a couple years ago, that their mosque was embroiled in controversy. Because you can't have a mosque in our town, not in Murfreesboro.
No.
Which is funny because we expected it to be so redneck. And when we went to Murfreesboro, it was actually just really nice.
It was a nice suburb.
The nicest Walmart I've ever been in was in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
That's true. And I had told you, I was like, wait until you see these Walmarts in the South, and you were just like, yeah, they're fantastic.
I was so disappointed.
They're so much better than ours. It's like, they clean up their act.
Just in Murfreesboro. I still believe that if I went to the Walmart in Nashville, I'll bet I'd find some pretty amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there was a lawsuit. The town was outraged that anyone would even dream of putting up a mosque, let alone next door to a good Baptist church.
Yeah, no kidding. That's not. That doesn't really fit with the declared set of values,
right?
That Murfreesboro
is all about.
Stands for.
Yeah. So the lawsuit is over.
What, really?
It's over, and
what happened?
Well, it went to federal appeals court.
Okay.
And they were pursuing it all the way to the Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court has now declined to take the case.
Oh.
So it is over. The mosque has won.
And so what exactly did they win?
Well, here's the dealio. These people were clearly just hateful people trying to stop the buildings, trying to get rid of this mosque.
Right. Which I don't know how you can do.
Well, the crux of their argument seems to have been, it was the claim that Islam is not actually a religion. The claim is that these Islamic people were just gathering to plot and scheme to get Sharia law, to replace American law with Sharia law. They are a political organization, not a religion, and so they didn't have the right to be there.
I guess that's as good of an argument as you could possibly come up with.
Maybe. Although my question for you is, you're not allowed to build a building and have a political group in it?
Well, no, that's a good point.
I mean,
not next to a Baptist church.
No, well,
in Tennessee.
That's exactly
not
right.
allowed. That clearly is not allowed down.
They're just flouting us, sitting there over there, being all Muslim-y, cooking their halal meat, and wearing things on their heads. How dare they?
It's just awful.
This is the South.
It's Tennessee.
This is Tennessee.
This is a fine suburb of Nashville.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes outside.
Yeah, okay, it's not really
it's a ways outside.
I knew as I was saying it, I was going to get myself in trouble.
But yeah, it's so they won. Yay!
Yeah,
I'm sure.
So they won the right to be
To be a religion.
To be a religion.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pretty. I'm shocked it went as far as it did. Frankly, because you'll remember that back in 2010 when all of this was going down,
right?
There were hundreds that were marching after the Rutherford County officials approved the plans. Our friend Patty Boy Robertson labeled the center a quote mega mosque. And claimed that Muslims were taking over Murfreesboro.
It was far from a mega mosque. This is just a neighborhood mosque.
Yeah.
And it really is.
Yeah. We went there. It's not that big. It's no bigger than...
It's got a big parking lot.
With a fake cop car sitting in it. That we thought we were fooled by for a minute.
Yeah.
We were like,
Smart.
okay, we better be on our toes here.
Yeah.
And then we were like, oh, wait a minute. That's just a car that they've got sitting there.
It probably doesn't even look like the local, but it says police.
No, it didn't say police. It was just white with like black doors.
Ah, that's what it was.
It just looked like a police car.
Like a cop car.
It was a cop model car. It was like an Impala or something. And
a Caprice.
anyway, so that's they can now feel legally free to practice their religion. Though I'm guessing they still don't feel welcome in the community.
Yeah. Well, and there might actually now be one of the more scary moments, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because now there's no legal recourse.
Right. So now
here's where the pitchforks come out.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
But maybe by now, most of the neighbors and everything have just sort of gotten used to the thing.
Well, you would have to.
You'd think. I mean, it's just sitting there. It's not doing anything. You know, nobody's pouring out of it with grenades and AKs.
Well, see, that's the part. You're naive, Dan. That's the part you clearly are not familiar with these people.
If anyone from the Murfreesboro Mosque is listening to our show, and I'm sure that they are,
I'm sure we're very popular.
I would recommend that they not post any like flyers around town saying, you know, learn to fly, you know, come to the aviation lessons at the mosque, or
learn to take off in a plane,
or you know,
but not land.
The whole workout trend of, you know, boot camp. I don't think you'd want to. I think you
don't run a CrossFit.
You don't
run an Islamic CrossFit.
Yeah. If you don't, what you don't want to have is like people in the backyard of the mosque, you know, working on the monkey bars, going hand over hand, and like doing obstacle courses.
Even
and stuff.
flipping over tires is a bad idea.
Don't do any of that stuff.
It doesn't look good.
Just everybody get fat.
Yeah,
and
do not be fit
and look lazy.
Yeah,
and you should be okay.
Yeah, the fatter the better, actually.
Yeah,
because a bunch of fat dudes isn't going to do anything.
Yeah, and maybe keep your beards trim.
Well, you got to give them something, Dan.
Okay.
Give them their beards. I mean, they just look like, again, they kind of just look like hipsters.
Right. Well, that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, I have another sort of court case thing.
Oh, okay.
This apparently the Utah's 10th District Federal Court of Appeals ruled against an appeal by Kevin Hartshorn earlier this week, I guess. Who is a Christian minister who has been convicted of founding his church as a tax avoidance scheme.
What?
I guess this whole thing really went down back in like 2010. It's a guy down in Orem. He set up this church and got about 50 different people to join it. Where it's called the Church of Compassionate Service.
Okay.
And everybody in it is a minister.
Right.
So that they could all have parsonages.
Right.
And so forth and so on, right?
Sure.
They have all these like tax benefits. Well, the problem, and what really got him caught probably more than anything, was the fact that he way overstated what he could get these people. And really like walked them through.
Oh.
He told them that if they turned all of their income
over to the church
and signed their homes over to the church, that they would have no federal income tax liability.
Oh, that's funny.
And that they should refuse to file federal income tax returns. And and that this would legally put their income and assets beyond the reach of the IRS.
He didn't do much research.
And in turn, they got to continue living in their house, and they were given church debit cards that they could use up to the amount of money they were bringing into the church.
See, this is just what this is a case of not doing it right, because all churches are set up to be tax havens.
Clearly.
But you got to do it right. You got to do it just for you.
Yeah.
And like three of your best friends.
Right.
And you got to be careful about this shit. You got to actually know the law, for one thing.
Yeah, it doesn't. First of all, signing over your income does
nothing.
Does nothing.
You might be able to write it off as a tax write-off.
I'm sure just up to a certain percentage.
Up to like $500 or something like that.
Probably more than that.
Maybe more than that.
I don't. Who knows? But
maybe that's the in-kind donation limit. 500 is jumping out of my mind or something for something. But you're right.
Nonetheless, it would never work for all of it.
Correct.
And yeah, so he had all these people completely convinced, and it just happened this week. Let me see if there was anything. He founded it in 2004, so
took him a while.
The
IRS is not the swiftest group in the bunch.
Apparently, though, this is not like he's not the only one who's ever tried to like get this to work.
No,
of
course not.
But apparently,
he was just.
If you want to see the ones that are working, just look down the street at whatever church is down there.
Yeah, you can't save all of the people from the taxes.
No,
that's the problem.
Right.
You're trying to, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, you can't. But I want to know, what was he, beyond just like feeling like he like had gotten away with something, what was he getting at it? Like,
well, you said
I was expecting the other shoe to drop with the story. I was expecting him to have like screwed people out of their money. Well, and it doesn't seem like he really did.
They're probably paying his salary. I mean,
they're probably paying him something. Yeah, that's probably true. There was probably a service fee of some kind.
Well, I mean, it's a tithe. They're probably paying a tithe.
Would be far less than their taxes, and so they were like,
right.
They were like, oh yeah,
they're totally into it. It's a good scheme for him.
So he'd probably make up to like 5 to 10% of everybody's income,
right? That he just gets to pocket, as is traditional with pastors and priests and whatever.
And in the meantime, he's probably not filing any of the stuff that he's supposed to be filing.
The thing. Now, you said this was Orem, right?
Uh-huh.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not familiar with Utah, Orem is right next to Provo in Utah County, which is the land of mega Mormons.
Yeah.
There's basically, if you don't have, if you're not a Republican, you shut the hell up in that part of the country, and so I can see. I mean, they get a little crazy about the conservative politics. Yeah. So to talk them into like, you shouldn't have to pay, don't pay your income tax. I don't know why that works on them. Like why that becomes, why the nut job Republicans are into that, but they're super into it.
Well,
like, because they're supporting big government.
I mean, to be honest, their Republican Party down in Utah County is really just libertarians.
Right.
I mean, the people who, I mean, that's what comes out of Utah County is all the crazy libertarian crap that dominates our state legislature. Is that's where it's coming from.
Libertarian crap
and
minus
rural Utah.
Libertarian crap minus the any tolerance for gays or any
it's
of that
not
stuff.
normal libertarian stuff.
Not that there's such a thing as normal libertarian stuff, but
I mean like
all the standard sort of
what Penn
Gillette. Sure.
His brand of libertarian.
No, it's not. It's a unique. It's a place down there. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, they got their first start. This is how Mormon Utah County is. I think they got their first Starbucks, which is like a couple years ago, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there was no place to get coffee.
No.
Like, good luck.
Yeah. I mean, this is you can get your Folgers at the local grocery store.
Oh well, yeah. If you're gonna brew it at home,
I'm just saying, like,
but there were no coffee shops.
No.
I'm sure like the 7-Eleven had coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, now I think there's a Starbucks and there's actually like a little coffee shop too, like an independently owned thing.
Dear God,
they're growing up so fast.
They are.
So
lots of tank tops with T-shirts underneath them.
Yeah.
It's a good look.
You don't see too many Mormon shoulders. It's true. Well, if you have any questions, comments, ideas, thoughts, feelings,
concerns
that you would like to express to us, you can reach us at podcast@thankgodimatheist.com.
Or you could leave us a voicemail. Our telephone number is 424-666-8442.
Right. You can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/TGIA Atheist. Or you can go to our website. You can even comment directly on each of our episodes there. People aren't really doing that.
No.
Matter of fact, I think the last comment we got was a comment about how nobody's commenting. But that's okay. I mean, if we want you to engage,
maybe that gets the ball rolling.
Engage in the way that you're comfortable engaging. But there are all of these ways.
But we have provided you this website.
Oh yeah, get in here, get in here and engage with us.
And we're actually starting to blog. We're getting that going.
Right.
So
right. You just posted a nice thing.
I posted a little thing.
Got a thing in the works.
Yeah.
I've started a thing.
I've got a couple ideas.
Yeah.
So for some more. So yeah. So we're getting that thing going. So definitely do go and check out thankgodimatheist.com.
Do it.
All right. Well, we have a quick bit of audio. This comes from Huffington Post now has like video that they shoot themselves. They have like a little studio.
Yeah. They it's like they're a news channel that doesn't do anything really.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's really weird. I don't fully get it, but it exists. It's HuffPost Live.
Yeah.
Anyways, the Osteens, that Joel and Victoria Osteen,
right,
were on, and they were talking. A viewer had asked the question about like fasting and prayer,
right?
And Joel, we're going to be picking this clip up sort of midstream, and Joel has already sort of given a very nice Joel Osteen,
a good stock answer.
Your connection to this is your connection to God,
right?
You can have God's ear.
Now, before we play this, I want to invite our listeners to imagine Victoria Osteen, who's a lovely woman,
sure,
a vibrant young woman, middle-aged.
She's got a great plastic surgeon,
right? But
the best.
But imagine her as you hear her voice. Imagine her eyes opening really wide with sincerity the whole time, and sometimes they close down a little bit. But then it's that very I don't even know how to describe it.
I bet part of it is the plastic surgery. Eyes don't naturally open as wide as her eyes are opening.
It's very funny. Anyway,
so her more closed. I think that's probably as closed as her eyes get, to be honest. But all right, let's hear what she has to say.
Yeah.
And do you all find yourselves fasting a lot? Fasting? And how often do you all pray?
Well, we pray every day. We start our day in prayer.
Together?
We have our separate prayer times, our separate times that we read. We do pray together often.
Yeah.
But, prayer is just kind of opens a dialogue between you and God. And sometimes people say, well, I have to get on my knees, I have to do it in a certain way. But really what God wants you to do is just give him your attention. And I believe when you do that at the first of the day, it not only sets the tone for your day, but literally have conversation with God during the day. I'm like, oh, God, I know it's crazy, but even if I'm going to drop my kids off or I need to park somewhere, I'm like, okay, God, I'm in this parking lot. Any place you can open up for me would be great. But I just have this relationship. I'm not dumbing down prayer. What I'm doing is it's part of my life. God's a part of my everyday life. So as far as fasting, I think fasting is important because sometimes we have to know what we can live without.
Yeah.
And simplify things. And so that's a big one for me. I had people talk about how, I fasted social media for a day.
Wow. That's, I think parking is really where you want to bring God into the mix. At least in my mind, that's what you want.
He loves the little things.
He's there with you.
He's a detail-oriented God.
He is. He's he can do anything. He's omnipotent.
So why wouldn't he help you park?
Why not?
Down at the mall.
Why the hell not?
You need a close spot into the Macy's?
Look, Lord, I'm
Dillards?
I'm on a bit of a time crunch, as you know.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to have to walk all the way from the Macy's to the Dillards.
Yeah.
If you could just get me some Dillards parking, it would save me so much time. I got to pick up the kids.
Which it's going to be a nightmare to find parking there too.
Yeah,
it's really kind of a parking day.
Whatever you can work out for me, Jesus. That would be nice.
And then if you could help, we got to get down to the church. If you could just help with traffic.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's going to be a little tight. We
all these
scheduled
red
this day a
lights,
little
what
too
have I
tightly.
done to thee, Lord? Why hast thou forsaken me? Actually, my grandfather, when they were driving to church, if he hit a bunch of red lights, he used to turn to the family and say, "Who hasn't paid their tithing?"
Oh, that's cute.
That's a cute way to extort your kids, isn't it? I had an interesting conversation with a friend a little while back who is LDS but sort of considering. I think he's on the precipice. I'm not going to push.
No,
but we were having a conversation, and I was talking about prayer and just sort of musing about intercessionary prayer. Which to me I find so baffling because there's this concept that God is all powerful and all knowing, right?
Right.
And if your God is all knowing and all powerful and he has a plan, and that concept is also very firmly entrenched, he has a plan,
right?
Then if you ask for anything to happen, aren't you asking him to change his plan? He's not going to change his plan.
Right.
It's already planned.
Right.
So intercessionary prayer as a concept is literally bunk by their own theology.
Right. Well, they religious types of this sort always have a hard time, I think, balancing out the idea of predestination.
Right.
And that things are all foreordained.
Right.
They have a really hard time with that because you're right. If God is omnipotent and omniscient,
then don't even bother him.
Yeah.
It's sorted. Yeah. Don't worry about it. I mean, these are the same people, the people that pray. I love that the same people will pray and pray and pray to save grandma, but then when she dies, they just say, well, it was God's plan. It was God's will. Well, then why the fuck were you praying? If you knew that God had a plan and that his will would be served,
well, and
why the hell are you praying? I mean, just pray and be like, hey, God, I'm still here. Boy, it'd suck if grandma went, but I know that's none of my business.
Well, plus she's old.
Yeah.
Just let her die. Do you really want her hanging on any longer?
Well, this grandma was young.
Oh.
I was doing a young grandma just to ruin your life.
Shut up. Yeah, it's too bad.
There you go. We did get some emails. We got some missives, some correspondence.
Excellent. Let's hear them.
I'm just going to shout out to April. She wrote to us, and we tend not to read emails that are just sort of nice comments about our show, but we're friends with her, and I just wanted to say
hi, April.
Hi, Ape. Nice to have you listening.
Yeah.
She's all caught up, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, she's gone through the whole thing.
Huh.
Hey, Frank and Dan, says Donna. I'm going to completely out myself here.
Oh.
I'm a student at the University of Florida. I get it. She came out as a student at UF. That's funny. And I just wanted to add a tiny detail to your story. The organization that brought Jonah to the University of Florida. Now, we're talking about Jonah Poop. What's his name?
Hickenbacker.
This was your story. This was the guy that came to
I know who you're talking
the
about.
BuzzFeed / HuffPost guy.
Yeah. It was a Jewish name.
I don't know. Jonah
Peretti.
Peretti. Yeah, that doesn't sound tremendously Jewish, but okay.
He's Italian Jew.
Yeah, exactly.
They exist.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, he went to we did a story about him at the University of Florida giving a talk in which he was talking about what gets traction on the internet. And he was making the point that it's not the quality content, it's just the best marketed content that gets the traffic. And he used the example of which is the higher quality content, Jews or Mormons.
The clear answer is Jew.
Because Mormons are winning in the marketing scheme of things, but the Jews are the quality content.
Well, they do. They've had thousands of years to refine it. Mormons, what, 150, 160, 70, somewhere around there now?
Not enough.
Not enough.
Not enough to get it
No, they
really
need more time.
to really get it down.
Time.
Anyway, she's so Donna says the organization that brought Jonah to UF, Accent, is infamously run by a Jewish fraternity on campus. They choose the speakers that come to UF with very little student input, so there seems to be a Jewish-friendly trend. Funny story, they brought Seth Meyers a few years ago for Jewish Awareness Month. Turns out Seth Meyers isn't Jewish. You could see the organizers scramble as Seth made jokes about how they failed to even Google whether he was Jewish or not.
Oh, my God.
That's what happens down here at the university with the largest Jewish population in the U.S.
That would be amazing. Knowingly, not declining,
right? Being
like, "Hey,
he took the
look
gig.
Into it."
He took the gig, and then went down there just to fuck with them. I kind of love that. I don't know, by the way, Donna, what you mean by infamously run by a Jewish fraternity on campus.
Let's face it. When Jews run things, it's usually infamous.
Oh my God. I don't know. They run Judaism quite well.
Infamously.
Anyway, Donna, you be careful out there. Don't get all anti-Jewy on me. Anyway, thanks for writing in. Oh crap! I don't know who wrote this one. I have to sort out who wrote this.
Who wrote it?
You know what? This one didn't have a name attached to it.
Okay.
Somebody wrote and said, "Hey guys, we was just listening to the latest podcast and heard you guys talking about the new park going up in Sioux City, Iowa. As a former resident, now our listeners will recall that the park got the controversy is that there was a grant given by a public grant given to the park, even though the park is explicitly Christian in nature." As a former resident, he or she says, I wanted to say that this isn't very surprising. While I have found that most of Iowa is relatively liberal with their Christianity, that part of the state can get pretty wacky. That area is also a large producer of meth, but I don't know if that could be related. Who knows? It doesn't seem related, but there you go. Anyway, I also had a couple of teachers who were overly Christian while growing up there, a baseball coach and a government teacher. And they would get reprimanded regularly for praying in class before games and telling us about the evils of those damned seculars, but it wouldn't change a thing. I also have the joy of experiencing a couple Christian-based abstinence-only pep rallies. Do those still go on in high schools today? Anyway, just wanted to give you my bit of input.
Let's get excited about not having sex.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. Nothing makes me more peppy in my life than the thought of abstaining from sex.
Yeah.
especially when I was a teenager.
Absolutely, clearly.
That's when you're really just
maybe it's about refocusing all that energy into a pep rally.
Yes, exactly.
And so, I mean, with teenage boys, that could be quite the pep rally.
Yeah, exactly. Let's just have everybody run around in a circle for a long time because you probably have a lot of pent up energy.
That's ridiculous.
Link wrote in. Link said, "Hey guys, I want to take a second to thank you for such a wonderfully informative podcast." He's been steadily listening. I happen to fall under the heading of a closet atheist due to the risk of losing family and business relationships. Now, where this annoys me at times, I don't personally feel coming out is worth my career and hurting others. Unfortunately, a side effect of this stance is that I'm unable to like your pages on such a quasi-public forum as Facebook and other social media, and for this I'm sorry. I guess all this is to thank you both for all of your hard work and to let you know that there are plenty of us out here who would like to publicly step out but are unable to do so without risking our livelihoods. Keep up the hard work. Thanks, Link.
Yeah, thank you.
It's a tough situation, and we certainly don't presume to know anyone else's situation.
No, dear God.
So if you can't like us on Facebook, we understand.
Visit our Facebook or visit our visit thankgodimatheist.com.
Visit the website. Yeah, leave some anonymous comments.
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
Use a nom de plume.
There you go.
If you want to.
Yeah,
we're not opposed to that.
That's a really good idea.
But we're glad that we can be serviceable to you, Link.
Yeah, wonderful.
And also Liam
Yeah.
wrote in, Dear Frank and Dan, I stumbled across your show a couple months ago and have been listening rabidly. I always listen to your podcast when I need entertainment and a quick laugh. I am 16 years old and was raised devout Mormon. I came out to my family as an atheist about a year ago.
Ooh, wow.
I know, right? 15? Holy crap.
Good for you.
They said they were fine with it, but lo and behold, after I came out, I found myself at a traditional Mormon private school.
Oh, no.
Life at, quote, BYU Junior is interesting.
Ooh.
Where most schools have homeroom, we have devotional. Where most schools have social studies classes, we have required religion class. And where most schools have fun activities, we have casual sexism. The school dance invitation. He says in parentheses, the school dance invitations were mostly filled with what girls can't wear. So I try to be as open as possible about my atheism when brought up in conversation. My question is,
all right.
How should I respond when one of my teachers says something terrible and inappropriate, like gay marriage has somehow come up in algebra?
Oh, my God.
Without rocking the boat too much. Keep it up and thank you for your time, Liam. Well, Liam, that is...
How does it show up in algebra? 2x plus 4y equals...
No.
Men shouldn't get married? I mean...
It's x plus y, not x plus x. Frank.
Equals eternity squared.
It's the sign of Adam and Steve, not the cosine of... Wait, what? Damn it. I don't know how that works. It's the equation... It's like, yeah, if you have... Anyway. Yeah, you're in a tricky position because the whole school is kind of stacked against you at that point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it better for him to just keep his head down? Or, I mean, maybe he can just chat. What's the worst that could happen? He could get expelled from the school.
From a Mormon school. Right, that he doesn't want to be at in the first place. Like, I mean, he doesn't want to, like, antagonize this whole thing too much.
No.
And clearly his parents are very concerned enough to send him off to some school.
Right.
But...
You know, and also when you're at a school, you don't, especially at that age, you don't want to alienate yourself too much from the other kids.
But he sounds like a he's
got a
pretty
good
with it kid.
Good head on his shoulders. I don't know. You're gonna have to feel this one out yourself, buddy. We got nothing. It's been 1,000 years since we were in high school.
I mean, if he's already talking about it,
go ahead, man.
Yeah.
I mean, if nothing else.
Start a club.
Don't be a dick. The first thing...
Start an underground atheist club.
There you go.
Find the other atheists.
But the key... I think the key is to avoid being a jerk.
Yeah.
If you can do it and do it honestly,
mm-hmm.
and just be honest and open about your feelings and about how what someone has said makes you feel,
mm-hmm.
Rather than telling them that they're wrong, Just say, well, this is how what you've just said makes me feel, or I don't believe that.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with you, and here's why. Never in a way, never to shame somebody else, never to make them feel stupid, but always, but just being open and honest with who you are. I think you're totally in the clear on that stuff.
Yeah. What about in class, though? I mean, he's talking about it showing up in algebra class.
I think, you can't stop religion in a religion school.
Right.
But you can present an alternative viewpoint, I suppose.
Right.
Just be gentle.
Just bring up blacks in the priesthood a lot.
just be like, hey, what about those men on the moon? Are they still there?
The Quakers.
The Quakers on the moon? Are they? Can anyone tell me about that? Every time gay marriage comes up in algebra class, you bring up the Kinderhook plates. See how that goes over.
Yeah. I think we're pushing him toward expulsion.
We've gone to the wrong place.
I think that's
we've gone to the wrong
exactly
place.
the right thing, Dan.
Yeah. I think the key is not to take our advice.
Yeah, that's excellent advice. Actually, that's the best advice we've given all day.
Right. Exactly. But we wish you the best.
Yes.
Out there.
Good luck,
Liam.
Well, is that all of it?
That's it. We do have some donors to thank.
Oh, yes.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind at all.
April is a new automatic monthly subscriber.
Thank you, April.
We do appreciate that. That's a very sweet thing. And Jasal. I'm going to say Jasal. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but that's my best guess. Gave us a one-time donation, so we really appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
So if you also would like to become a donor and help us with our little mission here, you can do so by going to Facebook. Not Facebook. Don't go to Facebook. That's the wrong place to go.
We'll go to Facebook, but not for this.
Not for this. For this, you can go to thankgodimatheist.com and click on the support tab.
Indeed. And we do appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, well, I want to start off this whole little segment with a story.
Okay.
Story of a man and a bicycle.
Yeah.
A man, a bicycle, and the sex offenders list.
Oh dear.
Robert Stewart, 51, has admitted to sexually, having conducted himself inappropriately with a bicycle.
Oh dear.
And clearly, I mean, he got himself onto the sex offenders registry.
What? Where is this?
This is in the UK somewhere. And I mean, there are places where you should not, in this world, where you should not be having sex with a bicycle. But he was in his apartment.
He was alone in his apartment.
He was in his bedroom having sex with his bicycle.
Okay, I have questions here. Because the visual's not working. I'm trying to come up with how the hell you have sex with a bicycle. Like, if you had told me a pie, if you had told me a sofa.
To be honest, I don't have the mechanics of this thing worked out in my head. I really don't know. And I love that the article actually is accompanied by a photo of just a bicycle. In case you didn't know, that's a bicycle.
That bicycle's not even wearing clothing. That's pornography that they're just posting there as though it's nothing.
Yeah,
on what is that? The BBC?
This is BBC News.
Oh my God.
And I don't know if he was the top or the bottom. So that clearly would change things, I
think it's the front and the back with a bicycle, isn't it? It's
I don't know.
The drive wheel and the handlebars.
Well, who's on top?
That's a good question.
Was he making out with the bike at the same time? Okay,
so
anyways,
wait, he got on the sexual deviant...
Yeah, let's get back to the problem here. Clearly, we can go a lot of...
I'm freaking out here.
Other directions with this whole thing. Yeah. So, there was... but cleaners came into his bedroom at the Aberley... It wasn't in his apartment. It was the Aberley House hostel.
Oh.
Into his bedroom, though.
Right.
They used a master key to unlock the door, and they then observed the accused wearing only a white T-shirt, and he was naked from the waist down. The accused was holding the bike and moving his hips back and forth as if to simulate sex. Both cleaners were, quote, extremely shocked.
Yeah.
Okay. And that is something that would be shocking to walk in on.
Yeah.
But once again, he was in a locked room.
Right.
So the bike, forget that it's a bike.
Yeah.
It could have been any kind of sex toy, apparatus, whatever. He just chose. He's at a hostel. He probably doesn't have room in his backpack. You know, he's traveling around.
Yeah, yeah. You can't get your whole Symbian machine into your backpack as you're touring the country.
Oh, so you use your bike somehow. Okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And now he's on a sex offender list. You know, he's just on the same list as like the rapists and the child molesters and stuff.
Yeah.
In our fair country, we respect the bicycle. It served us so well through 2 world wars. The bicycle, what was?
Yeah. Anyways, Sheriff Colin Miller said, in almost 4 decades of the law, I thought I had come across every perversion known to mankind, but this is a new one to me. I have never heard of a cyclosexualist.
Oh, he just wanted to make up a word.
I personally would have gone with bisexual.
Yeah,
a bisexual.
Bisexual, right, exactly. Oh my God. I mean, come on. See, now I have a real problem with just sex offender lists in general.
Yeah.
I get kind of where they're coming from, but the fact, I mean, like for instance, I have a friend whose son was 18.
Mm-hmm.
He was making out with a girl who was 17. 18 being the age where you become legally an adult in this country.
Right.
And her brother called the cops, who came in and arrested him, and he was convicted of having sexual, not even, they were just making out, but he was convicted of basically, I don't know that it was statutory rape, but some lesser thing of that, and was put on a sex offender list.
Jesus Christ. And how long is he on the sex offenders list?
I don't know. I mean, I think in Utah it's like semi-permanent or something. It seemed like it was a long time.
Yeah. I know the problem. The problem that I have with the sex offenders list is that it's a punishment that I mean, it seems to be about public safety, right? That's sort of how they've
That's how they couch it. Yeah. Like,
but
you need to know who the ones in your neighborhood are
exactly.
that you can't let your
And you have
kid.
to go around. The sex offender has to go around and knock on all the doors and announce the fact that they've just moved into the neighborhood, right? Or something like that.
Something like that.
Maybe
yeah.
some do, some don't, depending on the nature of it. Again, I don't really fully know all the details of that, but nonetheless, it's this horrible thing that follows somebody around in a way that no other anything seems to follow people around. I mean, I've heard of people getting on the list for public urination.
Right. That's
like if the judge wants to really throw the book at you,
and
boom.
And frankly, there's nothing sexy about that.
No, there's not. Well, it's about exposing yourself
Right.
in public, I
Right.
think is the point. And depending on the nature of how you were peeing in public, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you were leering at people as they walked past or something.
I don't even want to imagine that.
No, please don't. I invite you not to imagine almost anything that we say in the next few minutes.
Okay, so we
anyway.
have a problem with the sex offenders list. But what we really wanted to get to this whole thing is bringing this up. We're not just bringing it up because it's a funny story.
It's
and a sad, tragic story at the same
Right.
time. We're bringing it up because clearly there are some issues with sex.
surrounding sex and religion. I mean, I was watching. So one of the reasons that I wanted to talk about this was that this week I was watching a video of our friend Daryl Ray giving a lecture about shame, about male shame, and it was
Shame in what way about being male?
Well, I mean, so
Or maybe not about being
he
male,
actually
but the
explored
men
he
experience.
explored several ways that men in our society are shamed.
Okay.
And about several things, but a lot of it boiled down to was sexuality, and specifically religious views of sexuality.
Okay.
So for instance, men in religions, especially, you look at the Abrahamic religions, you look at your Judaism, your Christianity, and your Islam, and they all have these very, in all of their books, there are these very strong prescriptions where men are to be in charge, and women are to be lesser than.
Not in charge.
Not in charge. Very much not in charge.
That's the important thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing. And then, the women's sexuality is all about sort of men controlling them, and it just becomes sexuality becomes this means of controlling people.
Right.
And but that doesn't just affect the women. When a man's daughter goes out and has sex against his will and gets pregnant, then that reflects somehow on him, and his psyche is hurt.
Well, he clearly raised her poorly.
Yeah, and he taught her what to do, and she disobeyed him, and that undermines his authority.
Yeah.
And all of this other stuff. So, I mean, it gets very complex, but the point is, like, religions are completely fucked up about sex.
Yeah.
They are 100% wrong.
Are there any that I'm trying to think? Are there any religions that are okay on sex, or is there always some fucked up weird rule surrounding sexuality? I mean, definitely in the West.
Yeah.
If it's religion, it screws with sexuality.
It fucks up your sex. I don't know. I mean, Hinduism's interesting. When I was in India, I definitely saw like incredibly sexual iconography on temples.
Right.
And stuff.
Okay.
You chiseled into the rock. There are these images of like guys with dicks almost as big as they are.
Wow.
Penetrating women and all sorts of stuff.
That would be painful.
They're into sex there. They are the inventors of the Kama Sutra and all of that sort of thing.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know what the Hindu, if there's any way that Hinduism fucks with your sex, except that it's every bit as sexist over there.
Well, and I'm sure that, like, again, your wife's sexuality and your daughter's sexuality is yours to own and control. As a man.
It's on you. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's still, even with the seeming permissiveness of things like the Kama Sutra and all of that sexual imagery, it's still, you still read all the stories about, women being beat up on buses and
Jesus. Yeah.
There's no safe haven, it seems, from the sexual mores of religion.
Right.
You hear a lot of people talk about theories about why that is, in terms of, maybe it's a good way of controlling people. Darrell Ray, in his book God and Sex, talks about how easily controlled someone is when you control their shame. When you can make them feel bad, especially about something over which they have zero control. Like we are, like a boy, a 15-year-old boy is going to masturbate.
Right.
So if you can make sure that he feels shamed about that, you've got him.
Right.
Because he's going to keep going back to it.
Right.
And every time he's going to feel sinful, and then he's going to come to you and say, I sinned again. And then you say, well, God will forgive you, but don't do it again.
Right.
Knowing full well it's going to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about, and there's also the whole thing about, women are the only ones for whom modesty is an issue. Modesty in the, not modesty in the real sense of the word, modesty in the Mormon sense of the word, meaning keeping yourself covered up.
Right.
Clothing wise.
Right.
What they call modest clothing, which we didn't cover it, but there was that whole story about the Utah high school, Wasatch High School here in Utah.
This is amazing.
This year that photoshopped certain girls' yearbook photos to give them either to cover their shoulders, to give them sleeves when they were wearing a sleeveless shirt, or to raise the neckline on certain dresses and stuff.
Because those girls were looking a little, what's the right word?
Normal.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
It's a bad thing. Big
deal.
The before is so unoffensive on these pictures.
I can't even
it's
believe it.
It's shocking that they felt like anything had to be done.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. We're talking about religion fucking with, and boy, I feel it to this day. Like there are things about sexuality that I have to like still like stop myself and say, no, brain, that's your training. That's not really how sexuality should work.
Right.
All the slut shaming and all of the,
Yeah.
a friend of mine went recently on a trip and visited a good friend of hers in Denver, and she just went because they like to every now and then get it on, and my initial impulse is like, uh-oh, and then I'm like, wait, why uh-oh? Why not celebrate? Cool, they have a sometimes sexual good time.
Wow.
It's just, it's ingrained. It's built in.
Because see, the problem was that it was a woman, Dan, who was behaving that way.
Well,
Because we know that they're not supposed to.
because if women have sex for fun,
Yeah.
then they're sluts.
Yeah. Yeah. How does? Yeah.
I celebrate sluttiness if it's chosen, if it's done responsibly and chosen well.
Mm-hmm.
Go get it. Have some fun in this life. You only get one life.
Yeah. All right.
You don't?
What? Go be slutty?
Celebrate other people's sluttiness.
Oh, I have no problem with people having lots of sex.
I think it's great.
Why not?
Sure.
With random, multiple people.
Do it with whomever you want. I mean, as if you're choosing it and you're not doing it. Sometimes people do it because they're sort of acting out something that they need. Sometimes you need to seek some help rather than self-medicating with sex.
And that's a good point. But
that,
I'm still not going to judge the person for
hell no.
for you've had a lot of sex with multiple partners. That's
no. Yeah. I hope it's safe.
Mm-hmm.
We need to encourage safety in sex because there are diseases about that you don't want.
But yeah. And Craigslist might not be the best place.
No,
to go.
No.
But people do.
People do
it. It may
Yeah.
not be. I mean, there's ways to be smarter about it than others.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. And I would say if you're a gay man, the risks are a lot less than if you're a straight woman.
Meaning
hooking up with randoms.
Oh yeah, I mean, it
it would just seem like it to me.
Yeah, I mean, at least
because
yeah, I mean, the gay culture does embrace the random sexual encounter in a way that straight culture hasn't traditionally, and so it doesn't bring the crazies out in quite the same way.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
So yeah, sure, I'll give you that. I believe me, when I was divorced from my first wife, and just sort of trying to get my sea legs in being a single person again.
Yeah.
And I hadn't really ever been a single person as an adult.
Right.
So this was kind of like me exploring that. I kind of wanted to go through a little slut phase for myself. I kind of wanted to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I realized that that's hard when you're a straight guy. Women can be tricky. But what I did realize, because as you know, I've got a lot of gay friends.
Right.
And I was just like, God, I wish I could be gay. It would be, I could get laid right now.
I know.
Right now.
I know.
We wouldn't even have to learn each other's names.
No, that's true. That is true. Unfortunately, that is true.
I don't say that's unfortunate. I'm okay with random sexual encounters that are mutually agreed upon.
I mean, I guess so. But
there
is something about at least knowing the person's name.
Yeah. For me, the joy of sexuality comes from sharing an intimate moment, and that you can't be that intimate with someone totally random.
I mean, it's mainly just you don't know the person's name. It's just rude.
It is rude. There's a rudeness there.
In what setting do you spend, a chunk of time, however long it is? I mean, it might be a brief encounter, but nonetheless, you just spent some time with the person. You've had physical contact with the person,
right?
And you don't know their name,
right? It does seem a little.
It's rude.
Okay, well. Thank you, Miss Manners. That was. I'm glad that we got that out of the way. Anyway, I just think the problem. So the problem isn't that a guy was fucking a bike, though that may be a problem. It's not a problem that's any of my business.
Are sex toys in that municipality or jurisdiction or whatever, are they illegal?
Well,
Like, are you not allowed to use your sexual organ
with
out of the bounds of human contact?
right, exactly. Like, what? How does it hurt you? I mean, it hurts you if you like walk in on them.
Yeah.
Like that can be an alarming thing to see.
But they had to use the master key.
I know.
That he was operating under an assumption of privacy.
Exactly.
He wasn't just flagrantly. He wasn't in the lobby having sex with his bicycle.
I guarantee you that's not the worst thing that happened in that hostel even that year.
No.
It's so harmless. This is the thing. The thinking, the problem, one of the big problems in our society is that the thinking about sex has been entirely controlled by religion for so long that you can't even separate the cultural thoughts about sex from the religious thoughts about sex.
Yeah.
It's why these goddamn purity balls happen, where these dads take their daughters to a dance. Creepy.
Yeah, no kidding.
And they put a ring on their daughter.
No, that's the creepy part.
Creepy.
That right there is the part that creeps me out, because like a daddy-daughter dance, there's a tradition of those.
Sure.
Those happen, right?
And if it were just for the bonding of a parent and child,
but usually daddy-daughter
great.
dances are. I mean, how old are these kids? Because daddy-daughters are usually like 12-year-olds.
No, this is teenagers.
Yeah.
And then they make their daughters promise to remain pure. Like, yeah, if you have a penis inside you, the Mormons love to do the whole do you want to give your husband a piece of chewed gum? You're a piece of gum for your husband. Do you want it to be
unwrap?
Do you want it to be chewed, or do you want it to be pristine?
And gum comes in packets of multiple pieces.
Right. So when he chews another piece of gum, you should be fine with that.
Yeah.
According to Mormon or old Mormon thinking, at least. No, but I mean, or there's the metaphor of the apple. Do you want to give your husband an apple that's already had bites taken out of it? Who wants that?
What about the metaphor of a test drive in your car? Would you buy a car without test driving it first?
Well, that to me only helps if you're trying to convince people to have sex with their future married partner.
That's what I'm saying.
That
you can come up with metaphors for anything.
Right, exactly.
Either side of this can have metaphors.
Right. Do you want to be the first person to try the bungee cords when you bungee jump? Or do you want to let those things get used a few times and know that they're holding up?
Dangerous. Because dude might be nuts.
Yeah, they might not know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the first to jump out of to jump off the bridge with those bungee cords. You want to let a couple other people test that out first. Maybe
make sure
get the length right.
The length is right. I almost said it and then I stopped myself. And then I was like, why the hell am I stopping myself?
There, we're good at metaphors. We can do this all day, people. We'll see your chewed piece of gum and raise you a bungee cord.
Yeah.
There you go.
You got to try it out.
You want somebody with some experience.
Yeah.
Do you want a doctor who's fresh out of medical school to be taking care of you, or do you want a doctor who's been doing it for a bunch of years?
Right.
Somebody who's got some tricks up their sleeve.
And do you want a patient who's never seen a doctor before?
No, that doesn't. Now you've ruined it. You broke it.
Shit. Okay, so that one doesn't really work.
Anyway, I think we've made our point.
Yeah.
You want some experience under that belt.
Yeah.
Who knows what could happen then.
Metaphors. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I encourage all of us to check our thinking on sexuality, considering that most of us were taught from a perspective that's just not even the problem isn't even just that it was crafted by a bunch of prudish religious types.
Right.
It's that it's not even remotely in line with who we are as a species.
Yeah.
Like, we are critters, and we have like urges. We have a whole nature to us.
Oh yeah.
That we're not acknowledging at all.
Right.
Like, why is sexuality all about defying our nature?
I don't know.
The natural man is an enemy to God.
I know.
Did you know that?
I read it.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah.
Enemy.
Enemy.
You start going around having sex like a bonobo, you are fighting God.
Using sex to instead of war.
Instead of fighting.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. So maybe if you become an enemy to God, but as a bonobo, that just means that you'll offer yourself as a sexual partner to God.
Right.
Later.
Ooh.
Hey, God. Hey, I heard Jesus was hung like this. He's hung. That's the joke. Anyway.
He's hung this much.
He's hung like this. And then you put your arms out like he's hung on the cross. See, that's the...
I don't get it, Dan.
It's just reference to his penis.
Wow.
It's a double entendre.
Uh-oh. I don't know what that means.
That's okay. I'll tell you when you're grown up. So get out there and think different about sexuality. That's what I encourage.
What?
And if you have any thoughts that you'd like to share with us about sexuality and how your religion may have affected your sexuality,
Yeah.
feel free to write into us.
Please do. In fact, podcast@thankgodimatheist.com is our email address.
Right. You can leave us a voicemail and let us hear your beautiful voice on the air. That's 424-666-8442.
Or, get onto Facebook, facebook.com/TGIA Atheist. Like us there. Follow the conversation. Make comments.
Yeah, all of the above.
Yeah.
Remember that you can go to our webpage, thankgodimatheist.com. You can leave comments there, read the blogs, and also you can donate.
Or you can buy a t-shirt.
Or you can buy a t-shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks to Mackenzie for all the Facebook help. And, of course, thanks to the Red Rock Hot Club for letting us use their music.
And we'll see you next week, everybody.
Bye-bye.